Hello guys, today is April 7th, 1:12 p.m. Let's continue our series, our A Christmas Carol book reading series. The ghost stopped at a certain warehouse door and asked Scrooge if he knew it. Know it, said Scrooge. Was I apprenticed here? They went in. They went in. At sight of an old gentleman in a Welsh wig sitting behind such a high desk that if he had been 2 inches taller, he must have knocked his head against the ceiling, Scrooge cried in great excitement. Why, it's old Fezziwig! Bless his heart, it's Fezziwig alive again! Old Fezziwig laid down his pen and looked up at the clock, which pointed to the hour of 7. He rubbed his hands, adjusted his capacious waistcoat, left all over himself, for him shoes to his organ of benevolence, and called out in a comfortable, oily, rich, fat, jovial voice, Yo ho there, Ebenezer! Dig! Scrooge's former self, now grown a young man, came briskly in, accompanied by his fellow apprentice, Dick Wilkins, to be sure. Dick Wilkins, to be sure, said Scrooge to the ghost. Bless me, yes, there he is. He was very much attached to me, was Dick. Poor Dick, dear, dear. Yo ho, my boys, said Fezziwig. No more work tonight. Christmas Eve, Dick. Christmas, Ebenezer. Let's have the shutters up, cried old Fezziwig, with a sharp clap of his hands before a man can say Jack Robinson. You wouldn't believe how those two fellows went at it. They charged into the street with the shutters. One, two, three, had them up in their places. Four, five, six, bear them up and pin them. Bear them and pin them. 7, 8, 9, and came back before you could have got to 12, panting like race horses. Hilly ho! Cried old Fezziwig, skipping down from the high desk with wonderful agility. Clear away, my lads, and let's have lots of room here. Hilly ho, Dick! Cheer up, Ebenezer! Clear away! There was nothing they wouldn't have cleared away, or couldn't have cleared away, with old Fezziwig looking on. It was done in a minute. Every movable was packed off, as if it were dismissed from public life forevermore. The floor was swept and watered. The lamps were trimmed, filled with heaped upon the fire, and the warehouse was as snug, and warm, and dry, and bright a ballroom as you would desire to see upon a winter's night. In came a fiddler, with a music book, and went up to the lofty desk, and made orchestra, and, and made an orchestra of it. In came a fiddler with a music book, and went up to the lofty desk, and made an orchestra of it, and tuned like 50 stomach aches. And tuned like 50 stomach aches. In came Mrs. Fezziwig. In came Mrs. Fezziwig, one vast substantial smile. In came three Miss Fezziwigs, beaming and lovable. In came the 6 young followers, whose hearts they broke. In came all the young men and women employed in the business. In came the housemaid, with her cousin, the baker. In came the cook, with her brother's particular friend, the milkman. In came the boy from over the way, who was suspected of not having board enough from his master, trying to hide himself behind the girl from next door, but one was proved to have had her ears pulled by her mistress. In they all came, one after another, some shyly, some boldly, some gracefully, some awkwardly, some pushing, some pulling. In they all came, anyhow and everyhow. Away they all went, 20 in couple at once, hands half round and back. Again the other way, down the middle and up again, round and round in various stages of affectionate grouping. Old top couple always turning up in the wrong place. New top couple New top couple, new top couple, starting off again. As soon as they got there, all top couples at last, and not a bottom one to help them. When this result was brought aloud, old Fezziwig, clapping his hands to stop the dance, cried out, "Well done!" And the, and the fiddler plunged his hot face into a pot of porter, especially provided for that purpose. But scoring rest upon his reappearance, he instantly began again, though there were no dancers yet, as if the other fiddler had been carried home exhausted on a shoulder, and he were a brand new man resolved to beat him out of sight or perish. There were more dances, and there were forfeits, and more dances, and there was a cake, and there was niggas, and there was a great piece of cold roast, and there was a great piece of cold boiled, and there were mince pies and plenty of beers. With the great effect of even and but the great effect of the evening came after the roast and boiled, and the fiddler, an artful dog mind, the sort of man who knew his business better than you or I could have told it him, struck up Sir Roger de Coverley. Then old Fezziwig stood out to dance with Mrs. Fezziwig, top couple too, with a good stiff piece of work put out for them, 3 or 4 and 20 parallel partners, people who were not to be trifled with, people who would dance and had no notion of walking. But if they had been twice as many, 4 times, old Fezziwig would have been a match for them, and so would Mrs. Fezziwig. As to her, she was worthy to be his partner in every sense of the term. If that's not high praise, tell me higher, and I'll use it. A positive light appeared to issue from Fezziwig's calves. They shone in every part of the dance like moons. You couldn't have predicted at any given time what would have become of them next. And when old Fezziwig and Mrs. Fezziwig had gone all through the dance, advanced and retired, both hands to your partner, bow and courtesy, corkscrew, thread the needle, and back again to your place, Fezziwig cut so deftly that he appeared to ink with his legs, and he came upon his feet again without a stagger. Mr. and Mrs. Fezziwig would be this guy here on the left, white, blue, and red, be Scrooge. This guy here on the left, this boy here on the left, looking at Mrs. and Mr. Fezziwig, the fiddler up there, people dancing. I don't know, yeah, 8 minutes, but I'm gonna start a new chapter. Yeah, I'm gonna start a new chapter. So, I'm gonna start a new chapter, so I'm gonna stop here on 8:30 minutes mark. See you in the next chapter. I see you in the next episode of a Christmas Carol book reading series.